Most people think the NHL awards mean something and could lead you to a Hall of Fame. Some people think they're stupid. We'll get into it and who should win them right now. Aren't off-day pods so much easier when the Avs are on a winning streak? Isn't that nice? More than just that, though. Y'all been talking about it. The internet's been talking about it. We're going to talk about it. Who are some of the favorites to win the awards? We're live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. This is the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, presented by Bet365. Big E and Rudo talking to you here. We'll get into all the awards conversation and our rants about Bednar and otherwise in a bit. Before we do that, though, there was a practice today. We're being kind of topical today. Obviously, Landeskog has been ramping up his practicing.
Yep.
Is he taking a full practice yet? Not really, but he's participating more than he has been.
Yeah.
Obviously, still waiting on clearance for things like contact, still waiting for him to really, truly be a full participant in practice, even if he is participating much more. Today was an optional. He was a part of it. I guess, what is your take on Gabe Landeskog practicing and the drills that he is able to do?
Well, first of all, before that, as you said, it's so much more fun when the Avs are streaking, right?
That's
so to
true.
Talk about things like that. Frank the Tank, right? Frank the Tank. They are streaking. We're going streaking in the quad. Yes, so I went to practice this morning. Obviously, it was an optional. We all knew that. I mean, by the time you went to, what time did you go to bed last night? Well, you're a wrong
buddy.
guy. You're a wrong guy.
Yeah.
Or I, personally, probably went around 1:30. So you're assuming the guys were kind of the same thing, give and take. By the time you calm down, you go to bed. It's a late night. And then, you got practice. Again, you don't want to have practice at 5 o'clock like in youth hockey because you're playing the next day at 2 o'clock. I mean, so it's a little vicious cycle. So that's why Bednar talked about it. There's not a lot of practices. But obviously, family sports, right? 2 rinks, kind of fun. I think you could tell Blackwood wanted to work on a couple things. So had a couple shooters with him on one side and then optional on the other side. And you can tell that the guys are having fun. Before I get on Landeskog, there's this drill called the rebound game. And I'll just explain it in 2 seconds and tell you why I'm talking about this. But goalies love it, players love it. So you get in the slot, there's a shooter, and then usually you have 2 or 3 guys on each side, right? Mm-hmm. The shooter, it's a game of 10. So if the goalie shoots and he freezes it, the goalie gets 1 point. If the puck gets behind the goal line, like the red line, or touches the boards, it's a point for the goalie. If you score, it's a point for the shooters.
Yep.
Believe it or not, like it's usually the goalies that win because you think like, oh, the guys are gonna. No, you're not. Like goalies are good. And then if you think you're like EJ just went in there and just threw a little shot, and then you can tell these guys just tip pucks. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here is it's so fun because Wedgwood was in there, obviously. Buddy, the intensity that he puts in there and the engagement that he has is so fun. It's fun to watch. He doesn't have to do that. I didn't see that, not to bag on goalies before, but they're engaged in practice. Now guys get engaged. Now there's a competition. Now Landeskog's in there. Now he wants to, and he feels part of it. Everybody's trying to, feels part of it. A stupid little drill. You know what I mean? Just a dumb little drill. But a guy like Wedgwood can make it such a fun one, what I mean? Just because he's vocal, he's excited, he's throwing the pads up in the air, he's doing the 2-pad stack, like it's fun. So my point was, it was fun to see Gabe in that environment. It was fun to see what the Wedgwoods and the Blackwoods of the world I've brought in, from the goaltender position. Yep. Again, more involved with the team. We were talking about 5-man units out there yesterday. The Avalanche have been 5-man unit. Don't forget about the goalie. You know what I mean? And sometimes we tend to forget about goalies and those guys are so interacting with the rest of the team is kind of fun. And it which leads me to Gabe. And listen, I've known Gabe forever. And when I heard a couple years ago, remember he was skating a little bit, and I'd be like watching practice, and I'd be like, oh, he might play game 2. And you're like, buddy, this guy's going at about 12% right now. There's still like 88% to go.
Yeah.
I'm being stupid with the numbers, but Gabe Landeskog looks like he's amping to go, and he looks like a different guy that we've seen the last few years. We know he's been skating. We know he's been pushing. You see him get involved and falling down and scoring a goal and getting right back up, and it's not being cautious. You know what I mean? I think he's past that. We're not doctors. We only play one on TV here. That's it. But he's past that. I think what you're seeing right now is real. We're not, again, this is just us speculating. Once he gets out there and play, we're not going to be surprised and say, we're going to be like, yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
But he's looking really good. With that said, I hate when people ask Bednar because it gets to be old. Like, he's going to give you the same answer.
Of course.
We don't know how his body's going to react. There's a plan. He's following the plan, but it sure is nice to see him with a smile.
Yeah.
And I think it's infectious. It's infectious to the rest of the team. But right now, to see him get involved, and again, Bednar said the other day, well, yeah, people are talking about practices. We have about 3 practices left the rest of the year. So I'm not sure. So he'll have to get some bumps and, not bruises, but, get bumped around. And I'm sure he has been. We just don't see it.
Of course.
But somewhere, somehow, we cross our fingers. It's fun to see him out there. And I won't be like the other people and, saying like, oh my God, he's playing tomorrow. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he's progressing to the point now where you're like, okay, this is real. Unlike before when people were like, oh, he's going to play. You know what I mean? Now it's like, this is real. He looks like a hockey player. It looks like he feels like a hockey player. No, it's just a matter
He's
of
doing translatable hockey things instead of barely a skating stride on the ice.
When people are like, oh, look, he's shooting off. And I'm like, are you serious? And again, I'm trying to be optimistic as well the last few years. But there was a time where it was like, what the reports that we saw, they were a little ridiculous. You know what I mean? Now I think those are realistic. I think you can see it in his face. And he looks like a NHL hockey player on the surface. And we'll see what it does, what it translates to.
No replacement for game speed, but
that's it.
We'll see.
So again, I just wanted to say that because we don't really talk about it because we always say, hey, we're leaving this topic alone, which we have out of respect for him and the whole process. But he sure looks good. He's a great-looking dude, that's for sure, but he looks good on the ice right now as a hockey player.
I said we'll really talk about it when he actually starts practicing. I know. I said we'll talk about it when he starts practicing. You can call I think you can reasonably call this actually practicing for Gabe Landeskog. He's maybe not a 100% full participant in real full practices, but you can tell it's getting there. Yeah, exactly.
It's getting there, and it's fun because it's exciting.
Yeah,
there's a lot of excitement with the team.
I mean, vibes are great right now.
Man, oh man, is this nice? I mean, all right, I'll keep it up. You know what I mean?
The other news from practice there, Josh Manson did skate on his own, which is good, but
that's good.
Obviously not imminently about to return either.
I mean, it's upper body for Josh, right? If I remember, so you can tell he's just cautious and being out there, and which is good. EJ was out there, so that was a good sign too. Obviously, I didn't see the cat, so.
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? Kitty, the cat. It wasn't out there. So, unless I missed them, I wasn't paying attention. But they said yesterday, day to day. So we'll see. The beauty of having some depth right now. So didn't stop them from having a good game, that third line yesterday. So cross the fingers that people get back and nobody else joins them on the list, and we'll go from there.
You're day to day right now, and you're ready to go on April 19th.
Yeah,
fine, all good. Not going to sweat it on that front. Beyond practice, and I guess we can just dive into this conversation. We probably won't get too into the weeds in this period yet, but I know where you stand on this, and I'm sure you know why Jared Bednar will not win the Jack Adams this year. But what are we doing? Like, in the NHL, what are we doing with these awards? Because What Jared Bednar has done this year is nothing short of remarkable. And yeah, he has Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. They're unbelievable players.
Yeah.
So what? He still had to juggle coaching an unbelievably injured team. He still had to juggle coaching upwards of 12 different players from when he started the year to now, find chemistry for all of those guys, put together lines that function on every given night. He's coached rookies. He's coached veterans. He's coached guys that have made NHL debuts. 48 players have played a hockey game for Jared Bednar this year. How is he not getting more recognition? And I know the Avs fan base is very acutely aware of what he does, but why is there not more national talk about Jared Bednar's coaching this season?
Well, I think you said it right there, right? I'm going to start many parts of this. I'm going to start with 29-8, right away. I mean, he's got McKinnon, he's got Makar. I always talk about high-end players that they're artists, right? You know what I mean? So you have to know how to handle an artist, right? I mean, how many times have we seen coaches' relationships with star players not good? There's a reason for that. I mean, there's a reason for that. I mean, I don't care what people say. Oh, we all get treated the same way here. No, you don't. That's the biggest crack of crap that you can ever hear. It's not. It's not. My leash is different. I turn the puck over, I am done. You know what I mean? McKinnon turns the puck over, he is not done. You know what I mean? There's a reason for that. So, which is okay. I'm not debating. It should be that way. And if it's not that way, you'll never win. Just remember that. So
If everybody
for me,
thinks they're Nathan McKinnon,
yeah,
you got
exactly.
problems.
No, but it's like in youth hockey when kids would tell me, like, yeah, but Cale Makar does that. No, I understand that. You're not Cale Makar. But they don't understand that. But Cale Makar, no, but you're not Cale Makar. You'll I'm not, this is not downgrading you. He's the best player on the planet. So I'm not like pushing you down. But anyway, coaches, you have to have those relationships. Then you have to have, it's like a guy saying like, well, he's only good because he plays with McKinnon, or, like we hear that with Mikko and stuff like that. My God, you have to have the IQ. You have to have the talent to play with those high-end guys as well. So you can't just say things like that. Oh, he only wins because he has McKinnon and Makar. That's not how it works. We all know about the East Coast bias. That's a fact. That is a fact, right? The games are played in the East Coast. And, I mean, it is what
They're
it is.
all in bed when the West Coast is playing.
It's fine. And he's not like flashy, whatever you want to call that, right? He's more reserved, and he does his press conference. You never see him really lose his marbles, and like say something. He did it this year with all the reasons. I mean, it was like guy got hurt, right? Wedgwood.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit different. So I think he's quiet, he's reserved, but I mean, I think it's absolutely a shame if he's not part of the conversation for the Calder. And again, I know he would be the first guy to tell you I'm only as good as the people surrounding me. That's players, that's management, but it's also Prater, it's also Ray, it's also Gretzky there in, not Gretzky, but Brett.
Heimlich, yeah.
Brett Gretzky, whatever they call him. Something about Gretzky. Anyway, Brett. In the video room,
yeah,
they've been together for a long time. So I think they should get a lot of credit. They don't get enough credit in my book. I'm telling you, look back at those rosters at the start of the season, and yikes, with the goaltending they were getting, it's a miracle that those guys are where they are today. And again, I can't say enough good things about them. And again, you're talking about 9 years. This is the 10th year, correct? Or is this the 9th year?
This would be the
year 9 or year 10?
8th year.
No.
16-17 was his first. So, ergo 26-27 would be the 10th.
All right, but I'm not arguing. Anyway, it's been a while. So pay some bills and then we'll keep going. God.
Maybe I did the math wrong because that might be 11. So maybe this is
hold on. I think this
9
is 9
and
or
next
10.
year's 10, maybe.
Well,
I don't know how numbers work.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to pay some bills. We are brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Sometimes it feels like the NHL awards are just a lottery system. If you want to win some money and not some NHL awards, make sure you're getting with the Colorado Lottery and playing today, especially with their limited edition $5 Nuggets scratch game. You can win exactly $50,000. Not over, it's exactly 50. But that's not where the cool part is at. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to win 50K. The cool part is 25 prizes of 52.80 too. So lots of people can win good money. You got that mile high 52.80 feet. win that amount of money. I would very much like that amount of money. That would be great. Of course, it's a great gift, too, for any of your friends and family that are Nuggets fans. It's a limited edition one, so you can get it to them. Don't even necessarily have to play the card game. Just a cool little piece of memorabilia you can jump on with the Colorado Lottery. Get your Denver Nuggets scratch game today. They're available now. Colorado Lottery. Play on. Of course, once you get those lottery tickets, maybe you win a little bit of money. You can jump in, get yourself some chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You can get their craveable box combo. Make your dreams come true at Raising Cane's, where every chicken finger is hand battered and cooked to order just for you. They've got crinkle-cut fries that come out from grade A premium potatoes. They've got that thick sliced Texas toast brushed in the garlic butter blend. Oh, they're just making me want to go to Raising Cane's right now. But of course, most importantly, it is the Raising Cane sauce that'll sell you on everything. You can also get a sweet plush dog because dogs are awesome even when they're plush animals. Make sure you're going and getting the Raising Cane's dog. Go get with them today. Get your combo box and make your craveable dreams a reality. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Awards are, at least ones that people have beef with that every year, are subjective, right?
Yeah.
They're voted on sometimes by the players, sometimes by the media, sometimes by whoever.
GMs.
Yep. Is there a way to fix it? Is there a way to make the voting better? Or do we just live in a world where stupid things like the best coach never actually wins the Jack Adams? It's just the team who had the best turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always going to have people that are going to challenge it, right? I mean, it's like player safety. It's like, it's always someone unhappy with the decision. Maybe if it was, I don't know what the word is, but centralized. What I mean by that is, I don't even remember who's what, but I think goalies are GMs, right? Something like that. Reporters are MVP or whatever it is.
I know reporters are MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it should be like, if it's reporters, then it's every award. You know what I mean? Not like just, of course, the one voted on by the players. That's a different one, obviously. But if it was centralized, that's what I mean. The voting, like, then you would get maybe a better, sort of outcome, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yep. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
More consistent.
Yeah, more consistent. Yeah. Like GMs will look at it differently than, let's say, reporters will look at it.
Sure.
I don't remember who else votes on what.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
For some of them, you'd have to remind me for sure. But
again, that's why I'm talking out of.
It's less about who's voting on it for me and the unwritten parameters that we've written about some of these things, where it's like instead of voting for the best one, you have to vote for the team that just has been the best as far as turnaround from the last season. Even though Jared Bednar didn't win it when he brought the Avs back to the playoffs, which is nonsense, but. I don't know.
Circumstances will lead like that. That year, there's something else for some reason.
Always something, man.
I mean, it kind of is annoying at times, but I think it's such a cliche. But people will tell you like, well, what we care about is the Stanley Cup, and again, of course,
I think that's mostly true.
Mostly true. I totally agree with you. But then all of a sudden, it's also nice to know that you are the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. It's also nice for teams to know that they have the best defenseman. They have the MVP of the league on their team. I mean, a lot was made of it last year that Jokic and Nate were MVPs, and on the banners on the building. And it's kind of nice to call your own, right? Like, hey, we have the best player in the league. We have the best player in the NBA. You know what I mean? So I think it's important in that sense. I don't think the guys really care that much in a sense, meaning like, if they get overlooked, unless there's one guy in basketball, he gets mad. Like, is it the Philly guy?
Embiid, yeah.
Whatever. That's how much I know about basketball.
Dude should probably play a full season. And then
yeah. But, I think it's important, but, it's also a team sport.
Yep.
And, who knows? I mean, we can dig into it, but my thought process is everybody has a chance. If you're playing in the NHL, that means you have a chance.
That's true.
So I just was overlooked many years, all those
You
awards.
score 2 points every night, you'll win some awards.
Yeah.
Guarantee you that much. Let me ask you this, E. Do you feel like some of the awards are a little redundant?
Yeah.
You have the MVP, and then you also have the Ted Lindsay. And I
Yeah.
know it means something to
Yeah.
some guys to be like the best
Yeah.
player voted on by the players, but
Yeah.
how many awards does the NHL really need?
Yeah, I think Rookie of the Year is one. I think
yeah.
Goaltender of the Year is because it's such a different position, right?
Yep.
So the Vezina. I think the Norris is important. But then again, how do you define the Norris, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, you get 100 points, you win the Norris. Because, as a D, you get 100 points, you should win the Norris. Well, maybe there is an award like Best Defensive Defenseman. We have it for forwards, like the Selke.
Yeah. It's
Why
true.
wouldn't you have it for the... right? Why wouldn't you have it for
We all
the
know
best?
defensemen don't matter.
Well, that's why. Well, it does here in Colorado. We have Kilmacar Matters. So thank God. But yeah, you know what I mean? So I think you can define those things a little bit more. And I do believe Wayne Gretzky should have an award named after him. Yes, I do believe that. That is a shame. There's so many awards, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
They are what they are.
there are core awards. There are core awards that everyone talks about, and then there are a bunch of other random awards, like the Ted Lindsay, like Mark Messier's leadership award of nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. If you awards are cool, you can celebrate your players when they win them. It's fine.
For sure.
Anyway, as Tiff showed you a little bit there, we have a list of a handful of awards that we're gonna make our picks with a couple of weeks left in the season. We're gonna say where we're at, who we think's gonna win them, and why. We're gonna start with the Calder because this one's super easy for me.
All right, I'll be the different guy.
I picked Macklin Celebrini at the start of the year. I'm sticking with Macklin Celebrini. He's been great. His only knock is availability. The only thing he hasn't done is been available for all 82 games. He was hurt a bit at the start of the year. He's been maybe some stuff nagging him at times during the year. But he's the real deal, man. He's come into the NHL and shown he is legit. He is ready to go on a team that there's not a lot of good players around him. Don't get me wrong. They've got some cool dudes. Will Smith's cool. But
Raw.
Celebrini he's the dude there now.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't have that as a pick. So then I'll give you another name, but just I'll throw Macklin there for a second. Saw him play so much last year. So you're talking about, when you hear and people think it's like a thrown out expression, the 200-foot game. No, it's real. To play in the NHL, you have to know how to play a 200-foot game. Macklin Celebrini last year in college hockey, youngest player in college hockey against men, not the NHL. His 200-foot game was unbelievable. You went to watch games, and you're like, not only is he dynamic, not only is he explosive, this guy knows how to play hockey. That's why he drew the comparisons to Jonathan Toews in that sense of the word, meaning centerman that can play in all three zones, that knows how to play hockey already at a young age. Now, when I hear that, Patrice Bergeron comparisons, and I'm not bagging on Cal Ritchie, but if you watch Cal Ritchie last year in juniors, this year, you don't say, oh, wow. This 200-foot game's phenomenal. Yeah. No, by any means, it's not close. That's what I'm saying. So Macklin, I think, is different. He's worthy of winning the Calder Trophy, absolutely. He's been dynamic. He's been awesome. I'm going to go Lane Hudson, his good friend, his teammate. I'm going to keep it in the Terrier family. Not a big deal. But Lane Hudson's got 50-plus assists right now. I mean, he's breaking all records, Montreal Canadian records. It's been phenomenal to watch. He's been fun to watch. You're talking about East Coast versus West Coast bias. There is a little bit of a difference there. You're in the Mecca in Montreal. The other guy, everybody's sleeping in San Jose with 3,000 people in the stands. It's a little different. So I'm going to go Lane Hudson. Obviously, I love Lane. I love the way he plays the game. You need a different one. If you have 6 Lane Hudsons on your team, it's not going to go well. But when you have one, it's awesome. and Montreal's using it to the best of their abilities, and I do believe Lane wins the Calder.
I don't know that I have a great argument against Hudson, to be honest. If he wins it, awesome. His
and throw
ability,
Wolfie in there after. We'll throw Wolfie in there.
Wolfie's not going to win it.
No, you just got to throw him in there.
No, I don't even know if he'd be a finalist. I'm a Mitch Cobb believer, though. So
well, then Torts is gone. He got a hat trick, and he goes on a tear. Does that really
change the math a little bit or something?
Wolfie did, Calgary's in playoff contention. He's been awesome. So I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? That's where somebody's going to be unhappy, right? The Philly fan base is going to be happy or unhappy. The Calgary fan base is going to be happy or unhappy.
Yep.
And then even Cutter, Gauthier, God, I hate bringing BC guys, but
he's not.
He's
there.
coming on
he's
strong.
Not there,
I'm just
though.
saying. No, I'm not saying he's there. I'm saying you might see some Anaheim people saying, "Oh, he should be in there," right? So that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it conversations flow at the office, here on the internet, on the chat, press boxes, and games. It's fun. That's why it's here.
Let me ask you this, E. Do you think there's a Canadian-leaning bias in some of these awards?
You mean Canadian teams? Like where they play?
I kind of mean both. I kind of mean teams, but also player origin.
I don't know. Is there? I never thought about it that way.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I should have won the Calder my first year, so maybe there was a French bias. They were against French people, but
I'm saying this because I'm leaning into our next award category because I'm about to make a lot of people mad.
Okay. Well, I've never looked at it that way, honestly. So let's go to your next thing just to see where you're going with that.
I think the math has changed here because of the injury.
Yeah.
So I think legitimately Nathan McKinnon is probably going to win it now. But I think there was a pretty good case that Leon Draisaitl should win the Hart this year.
Oh, you mean European? Well, is Don Cherry around? I love Don Cherry. I'm kidding. I mean, that's... here's what I'm going to answer to that because I lived it. And you got to remember, I'm Francophone, right? First language French and Quebecer. And there's a lot of people that live their lives that way saying like, oh, this coach doesn't like French guys. And I got to be honest with you. Like, I've never felt it. I've never looked at it that way. I think hockey is all about you have a jersey and that jersey's from there and this is where we're from. And I've never looked at it German or Swedes or Russians or, I think you're in the locker room. So what makes it fun. There's different, personalities, but there's different origins and different where they're from and nationalities and cultures. So different. I would look at it more Draisaitl. Oh, he's on a Canadian team in Edmonton, not he's German. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
fair enough.
Yeah, that'd be my answer. But yeah, I think if you're the best, you're the best, and if you're showing that you're the best, and it's subjective to people voting, right? You might think that I think I got the better hairdo right here, and chat might think your hairdo is better.
I don't think a lot of people would vote for my hairdo.
I'm just saying, maybe Tiff, would vote for you, and then I'd be mad, and I'd be like, she doesn't like French guys, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean. So I think it's a little bit subjective. I think it's more the jersey you're wearing and the location where you're at.
All right.
I don't think it's your nationality, but that's a fair question. Absolutely.
I'm not going to argue it one way or another, so we'll tell you after this break. Let's pay some bills before we get into all of that, as we are brought to you on today's podcast by UC Health. Don't be like Leon Draisaitl and be missing hockey games when you could be winning a trophy. Make sure you're healthy. UC Health is here to make sure you're living like there is a tomorrow. You can go get with them for whatever your health needs might be. Physical, mental, and sleep are the three I usually reference. If you want to get more specific, they can do things like joint health if you're having problems with that. Skin care health if you have, like my wife who has eczema, gets great care from them. So make sure you're going and checking it out. Make sure you're getting with UC Health today. and make sure you're enjoying your life, having a good time, living like there is tomorrow over at uchealth.org today. Again, UC Health, live extraordinary. And once you're taking care of your health, are they? Are we officially doing that now? Sorry, UC Health. They are an official healthcare partner of the Colorado Avalanche. So there you go. I wasn't sure we were there, but you know what? They're taking care of the Avs. They can take care of you. Put it to you that way. And you can also go play yourself some sports. Can't do ice hockey with Volo, but you can do just about everything else. You want some street hockey? I bet they have some of that. Maybe more up my alley, something like cornhole. You can do it all with Volo. Make sure you're getting in with Volo today, whatever the sport might be, with code DNVR10 to get $10 off whatever you're signing up for. Again, all sorts of sports all over Denver, all over Colorado, honestly, all over the country. Any reasonably big city pretty much has a Volo chapter. So make sure you're getting in there if you want to meet new people, be social, make friends, or if you just want a more fun way to get active and out there and playing some sports. It's a great way to do it. You can sign up today as a single or a small group or a full team at all ability levels and all backgrounds. You're welcome to join. Again, use that DNVR10 code to get $10 off any Volo Denver league. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Yeah, I'm going Nathan MacKinnon. I do think Nathan MacKinnon should win the Hart, but if it wasn't for this Draisaitl injury, I do think I may have picked Draisaitl. And this is not because I necessarily believe that Draisaitl is a better player than MacKinnon, other than like the top 8 to 10 NHLers on any given day could be the best player that day. The big thing for me, and I know the Rocket is an award that you win anyway, but Draisaitl, it's not even close when it comes to goal scoring. No one else is even in his ballpark when it comes to actually putting the puck in the back of the net this year.
Well, that's a fair point. You're right. The hardest thing to do in the National Hockey League is put the puck in the net, and this guy's doing it better than anybody else.
Yep.
I think how dominant he's been, you just have to look no further than his own backyard, the Edmonton Oilers. Everybody, I mean, a lot of people will say Connor McDavid, best player in the NHL, right? You know what I mean?
True.
I mean, why not? I mean, arguably top 3 guy, McKinnon, him, Draisaitl, whatever. He's been better than Connor this year. He's been the best Edmonton Oiler. And that's without a doubt. And people are going to say, oh, this is that down year for Connor and whatever, somehow. I mean, I'd like to have down years like that, but whatever. That's like us when we bag on MacKinnon having a tough stretch of 7 points in 6 games. We would like to get 25 points in 6 games, and we say it's a tough stretch for Nathan. Obviously, all relative. But he's been better than Connor. And, yeah, there's a case that, if he wasn't injured, he, maybe, again, it's a choice, right? You know what I mean? And he's been dominant. He's been good. He's a big horse. He can shoot. He can make plays. He carries his team. He can play without Connor. You know what I mean? And that's important, I think, for the voters. But I agree with you. I'm giving it to Nathan as well. So we got the same pick. Biased, maybe, but the consistency that he's been going at it since last year, especially on those home streaks, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to get that consistent production that he gets. He makes people around them better. We all know that. We all see it. Not, like he's the world, Druin's the world. They're good players. That's not what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, he is a dominant player. He should win his second MVP in a row. And I do believe he will.
Interesting point from MV Kuhn in the Toyota chat. Heard ESPN last night during the Avs game talking up Hellebuck as the favorite to win the Hart. Haven't heard that much in the last month. I think it's really, really hard to pick a goalie to be the favorite. I will say I think he should be a finalist over Kucherov, and we can all agree that Kucherov is a fraud. But, that's just my opinion.
Make guys mad or girls mad in the chat now.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Eric? What do you think of Kucherov being a fraud?
Hey, listen, here's my take on Kucherov. I've always thought that he's a good player. He's never been
unbelievable hockey player.
No, but he's not.
Is he the MVP?
Yeah, and I'm biased because he's not my type of player. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not my type. I think his grumpy personality.
Yep.
I'm a Sidney Crosby lover. You guys know that. It's so different, right? It's just a contrast between the two. I'm a Tom Brady lover, right? You know what I mean? That's just what I am. I do believe in that type of leadership. So
You lose me there a little bit.
Well,
but-
I mean, sorry. I am. I don't know football, but I like him. You know what I mean? So I kind of, it's not my gig. You know what I mean, Kucherov? But Hellebuck, man, you're talking about the most important player to a team. Like, it's hard to argue about Connor Hellebuck. Like, he's been amazing. He's first in every category. I mean, he runs away with the Vezina, right? Runs away.
There's a reason Vezina wasn't even on their list because it's
not-
Hellebuck. Yeah,
Let's not even talk about it. I go,
right.
done, move on. Right? So he's been that dominant. Now is his playoff performance. I mean, again, legends are built in the playoffs. Legends are built in the Canada Cups, the Olympics, all that kind of stuff. We saw Four Nations. Not blaming him, but Bennington was better than him. You know, I mean, so now he's got a lot to prove, but these awards are based on regular season. It's not based on playoffs. Yeah, I mean, if I see Connor Hellebuck on the ballot, I won't be shocked. I mean, by any means.
I would not. I'd have him in. I'd be McKinnon, Draisaitl, and Hellebuck would be my three finalists.
I agree with you. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So I think it's it's our backyard. Would I ridiculize someone if they were picking Draisaitl? No. I mean, it's a fair pick. From what I've seen, for me, Nathan wins that second in a row, and as he should. And it's not, it wouldn't be stealing anything away from anyone. He's been that good, and the consistency and the injuries that they had, and the sometimes line mates that he had. I mean, it's worthy of an MVP season again for Nathan McKinnon in my book.
Let me ask you a question that could be crazy.
Yep.
If Cale Makar gets to 30 goals,
Yep.
are you floating his name into this conversation?
I mean, I call him the best player on the planet. I call him the guy that if you have to build a franchise, who's the first guy you take? That's my guy. I'm not shying away from it. So, yeah, I mean, would you think about it? Absolutely. He's been that good. Just look at the play last night on the Mayor of Denver's goal. They look like nothing burger plays, but they're plays that are amazing. But we're so accustomed to them. It's also goes against them because we're so like we're not phased anymore.
Right.
Maybe people that don't
Just
watch
does
him that
every
much.
day.
Yeah, it's
right.
hey, you know what do you mean? Like he does this like 8 times a game. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh wow, you know what I mean? So I would throw his name in there. Why not? But then who do you take out? I don't know. And that's where you start making people mad, right? And that's why awards are tough because you're gonna make people mad.
I bring this up because I think both of us are about to pick Cale Makar for the Norris. I don't think we'll be deviating from that. And I think most of the discourse about the Norris has come around to this too. At times this year, the argument for Quinn Hughes had been pretty loud, and there were even some justifiable points being made for Quinn Hughes as maybe in certain areas was out-dueling Makar for the race of the Norris this year. But over the last 20 or so games, I don't think it's close anymore. I really don't. I think Cale Makar has run away with this Norris conversation for a handful of reasons, not least of which being that Vancouver is imploding. But how much of that is Hughes' fault? Not that much. But Makar, more availability. Makar plays a significantly higher quality of competition than Hughes does. Makar obviously running away with the defensive goal scoring stuff. Honestly, you could maybe you could even make an argument that Werenski should be ahead of Hughes this year, to be honest.
Well, the thing with Quinn is he's missed some time, right? So he's been injured.
Availability is a thing for sure.
Yeah, it's a thing. I love him. So, I mean, I'm very impressed by him. I've always been. Think of it this way. Some people at the start of the year were saying that even MVP conversation of the league, right? Because, again, is that crazy? Maybe. But if you're talking about, like, Hellebuck, most important player to their team, like, oh boy, he is so important to that team. There's
That's
a
definitely
reason,
true.
You know, there's a reason why they went down a little bit the last few months because Quinn's been hurt, obviously. He missed the Four Nations. And then he's probably not 100%, right? And it makes a big difference. And But for me, Cale Makar, you're talking about consistency, you're talking about availability, you're talking about all that type of stuff. He's been nothing short of fantastic. He's been awesome. I do believe he gets it. I do believe he gets 30 goals. Werenski, another great story. You're talking about availability. Like, Werenski's been hurt, over the years. You know what I mean? And now he's available this year, and he's dominant. And he makes a case he should be on the ballot. You know what I mean? Now is he better than Cale Makar this season? I don't think so. Is he a better player overall so far in his career? No, I don't think so. So that's why for me, Cale gets the nod to win the Norris, and what he does and day in and day out. And yesterday he got hit by 87 pucks, and he plays the game the right way. And he's fun, he's exciting, and the little things that he does that are absolutely fantastic, we feel that they're everyday occurrences. It's not. It's pretty special what he does. And, it's just to see the people that come in town every game, visiting teams, broadcasters, the first thing they do is they watch him at morning skate, and they're like, oh, my God, is this guy beautiful to watch? Absolutely. And I think we're very grateful in Denver. I think his teammates are grateful. I think management, coaches, and he's such a humble kid that it's a pleasure and it's a joy to watch day in and day out. And I think we are very fortunate here in Denver.
Same.
And that's why, for me, he should win the Norris again this season.
I really don't think it should be close. I think when the ballot comes out, it should be 100% first
like
place
Nate
votes go to
year,
Cale Makar.
Right? Remember Nate last year? People said, it's close. And then
it wasn't close.
The things came out and everyone was like, oh. I do believe that is that type of year right now. That doesn't mean the other two haven't been good. So,
alrighty, we gotta pick a Jack Adams winner. We gotta pick one. I think Jared Bednar deserves to win. I don't think he will win.
All right.
I'll go first if you need to think.
Go first. I got my pick.
Again, if I was picking who I think deserved to win, it would be Jared Bednar.
Okay.
Who I think is going to win. I've narrowed it down to two. And I'm going to pick the one that's more fun. I'm going to go Marty St. Louis.
All right. Keep it in the French family. I like that. Good guy.
Montreal has had a huge turnaround this year.
Yeah.
And maybe more importantly, they're fun to watch, dude. That team is fun to watch this year. They have created an atmosphere where you want to tune into their games. They play a style of hockey, a brand of hockey that is enjoyable. Yeah. And if I'm being honest, I don't know that I trust Marty's systems at all. I think Montreal plays super fast and loose, especially defensively. But you know what? It's fun. It's enjoyable. And they've created a system that is getting the most out of a lot of the guys, at least on the offensive side.
What transpires? I every morning. This is where I'm from. It's been years. I always go and look at the Montreal paper, right, just to see.
Yeah.
Just because it makes me feel a little bit like home. You know what I mean? And it's kind of nice with the internet nowadays that it's just a click of a button. You can
it's right
see,
there at
it's
all
right
times.
There. You can see what's going on. I think Marty, it's a great pick because it shows you that he cares. He cares about his players, and I think as a player, all you want to see is that your coach is on the same boat, same team as you. You know what I mean? And I think he the way he addresses the media, and it's tough to do over there, man. And it's in two languages, and it's French and English, and it's demanding, and it's hard, and you can tell, like, oh God, today he doesn't want to do it, but he does it every day. So I like the pick. I agree with the pick. I think we're both saying that. I say it every day, like Jared Bednar should win. So I'm going to move on from that because I don't think he will win because of the McKinnon and Makar, argument, the people, whatever that is. Do we need a break or?
No. We're good.
All right. That's how good I am. I'm very meticulous. I'm very, detail oriented, just like the Avalanche. My pick, I don't know the guy. Didn't really know much about the guy. But you're talking about like a team that I didn't expect to be there. Yeah, it's Washington. So for me, Spencer Carberry,
he was my other. I was between him and
Marty.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I don't know him, but every time I see, social media, I see things, and man, do they look like they're having fun, that team. And I know as a player, when you feel like you're having fun and the atmosphere is fun, it leads and translates to wins. He has put an unbelievable atmosphere in there. And then, you nowadays with social media, you hear the way coaches talk after the games, right? Usually in that little 1-minute Twitter thing where you can hear them. And I just love the way he comes across. I love the way he talks to his players. I love the way his message goes through. Very smart, obviously, X's and O's guy. Obviously, he's played with Bednar, right? They all come from that South Carolina Stingrays.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. I don't know what was in the water there, but all in the NHL. It's like Hartford Whalers back then. They were all coaches. Like, oh, my gosh. But anyway, Spencer Carberry for me. I don't know. I saw it again yesterday. I'm like, these guys are having so much fun. I think he would be my guy. Last year, they were, minus 50 in goal differential. Still made the playoffs. And we're like, what is that?
That playoff spot got gifted to them by
but
three different teams.
But then this year, they're a different team. Right? Just a different team in every category compared to that last year. I mean, is they going to translate in the playoffs? I don't know.
I also think
you're not a believer. I know
there's
that.
There's a lot of unsustainability there.
Yeah, so I don't know. But for me, Spencer Carberry, so it's not so much like it was a playoff team last year. So, I hate when it's like a 48-point season to, oh my God, like the biggest point. So, but Spencer Carberry, I think it's legit. I love what he's brought. I love the atmosphere. I love the way he speaks. I love the way he presents himself. He seems like he cares. So maybe that's if Bednar can't have it, might as well have his friend have it.
Does the AHL have a Coach of the Year award?
AHL?
Yeah.
I do believe they do.
Well, you can pick your old centerman for that one then.
Flappy? No.
Huh?
My old centerman.
Pascal
Vincent, my old, my youth hockey centerman.
Yeah, way old centerman.
Yes. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah.
He's been great in Laval. Laval's been awesome. Hey, listen, you can impact a team as a coach. We all know that. It makes a big difference. Obviously management, coaches, players. But yeah, it's an interesting category this year. Coach of the Year for sure. It's there's a lot of candidates. So
one category left on the list, E. And I'll be honest. I don't know how much of this pick is my bias and how much isn't. Like I've looked pretty hard into the Cale Makar stuff, and I've tried really hard to look at it from a non-biased point of Avalanche side of things, and I truly believe he's by far the best defenseman and should win it.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with the McKinnon thing. Like I said, I wasn't even going to pick McKinnon until Draisaitl got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know how it can't be Chris MacFarland for GM of the Year.
My Lord. It's a no-brainer. You can't even, don't talk about anybody else. And if people think that we're biased, then change the channel right now. Get off the chat. What he did is nothing short of remarkable. On the fly, in handcuffs all summer with the Val situation, Gabe situation. If you add all that up, it's crazy what he was able to do. And you got to remember, when people around the league, I'm going to speak from experience here. When people around the league feel that you have a kind of a wagon, if I can use those terms,
sure,
but you're weak in the net, it's a fact they were weak in the net. Stop it if you don't think so. If you think I'm a Georgiev hater, man, get over that. It was a fact. Nobody wants to help you, because why would you want to help that team if that's all they're missing? You know what I mean? So it's not easy, and it's been a while. They were trying for a while to go get a goalie. And I'll tell you one thing, what he did on the fly was absolutely unreal. Starting the summer, starting when they went south, there is no doubt he wins that award. There is no doubt. And if there is a doubt, come talk to us right here at DNVR Bar, corner of York and Colfax. We'll have a little beverage together. And if anybody from the league disagrees, come talk to us as well, because it's hands down. You were talking about the McKinnon last year. As you know, the ballot when it came out, oh, buddy, that is a unanimous vote. There is nobody else.
I would agree.
And what he did, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of support. He's got a great staff with him. He'd be the first guy to tell you. And you're talking about a non-flashy guy. He is not a flashy guy. He is not a guy that wants the accolades. But I'll tell you one thing. What he did is absolutely phenomenal.
It's
Phenomenal.
and part of the reason is we're talking about stuff that like it had never been done before. Replacing both your goalies in December, like we're in pretty crazy territory with C-Mac when it comes to that GM stuff. And like, sure, there are going to be some people who make the argument of like, oh, well, he blew up the Avs' future by trading away all the picks or whatever.
You're gonna
but
win. You'll win with the future. You know.
Avs are trying to win right now, and certainly no other GM did as much work as C-Mac did this year. I'll put it to you that way.
And his timing was impeccable. Like, you know, always at the right time before everybody else.
And are we flying high right now? Probably. If the Avs lose in the first round, we probably feel a little bit differently about it all. But even when you look at beyond this season, guess what? Mackenzie Blackwood is an Av for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Marty Natchez looks like he's probably going to be an Av for the foreseeable future. He's signed through next year at minimum. And then you have a bunch of other conversations like that. Coyle, signed through next season. You've sifted through an unbelievable amount of players, which just goes to show. And you know, is this more the scouting staff of the Avalanche organization as a whole? Sure, but the GM award is kind of represents the entire organization more than just the GM.
You're in that chair.
You've had 48 players suit up for you this year, and you kept it above 500, let alone the ridiculously good record they have now. That's ridiculously good work for organizational depth.
And you're only as good as the people surrounding you. And you're bang on. He would be the first guy to say that. Kudos to the entire staff. Kudos to Joe, everybody. The leadership is phenomenal at the time. I mean, your ownership group as well. You need your ownership group to be on the same page. Trust me, there's a lot of ownership groups in this league that are hard to work with. They are, and they're in the way. This is not the case here. It's not the case here, and this is good. And the moves that he made required a lot of audacity, maybe, or balls, or whatever you want to call. Like, it's pretty.
Cojones. The chat used
cojones. Oh my God, I can't read, but I'll tell you. You're right with cojones. And he's left it all out on the table. I say it again, because I'll say it again, one of my dad's lines. And if Joe was here, if you asked Joe, what's the best thing Pierre ever did to you guys, he would tell you, gave us a chance to win.
Yep.
As a player, only thing you can ask for is a chance to win. And remember that day, the trade deadline day, whatever, I was like, oh man, that locker room will be buzzing. Why are you buzzing? Because your front office, Chris, we're using his name because he's in that chair. There's 32 people, right? 32 teams in those chairs. Crazy job, by the way. Gave them a chance to win. And that's all you can ask for. And you know they wanted a chance to win, right? Number 8, number 29, those guys, they want a chance to win.
For sure.
So it's a reciprocal. It's both thankful, and now you go do the job. And I'll tell you one thing. Don't just look at their record, but look at their record. Since then, woof, they're pretty good.
Just quickly, because I say this every time they come up, there are plenty of justifiable reasons to not like the Cronkies. If you're a fan of the St. Louis Rams, if you're a fan of Arsenal, I get it. I do. But as far as the Avs are concerned, the Cronkies have always been great owners.
Awesome.
They've never been a problem for the Avs. No. They've always been willing to spend on the team. To be fair, the NHL salary cap is pennies compared to the NBA and what he does with the LA Rams. But he's never stood in the way of the Avs.
They trust their people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you trust the people that are in place. And when you do that, and again, I think the track record's been good, right? You know what I mean? So you have to show a good track record. Then the belief is there, and then the it's like Kivy and Bednar, right? The trust is there. You know what I mean? God, I think
Bednar might trust Kivy a little bit more than anyone trusts anyone on the planet.
But you know what I mean. So it's very lucky here in Colorado to have that kind of ownership, and the Avalanche and Nuggets, and obviously the list goes on. But we're talking about hockey here, so it's very lucky to have that type of ownership.
It's fun. I kind of want to swerve on that a little bit because it is important. Yes, C-Mac going out and made all these moves, and the moves themselves transformed the Avs, whatever you want to call it. But it's important that you have that synergy with your head coach on who you are going out and getting.
Massive.
You can't go out and get a guy that Bednar is like, what do I do with this guy? You know, what am I supposed to do? Where do I play him? I don't have an answer for this guy. You go out and get guys like Brock Nelson, who Bednar's like, yeah, I know where I'm putting that guy every single night.
The synergy's there. It's undeniable. And again, I'm not here to throw daggers at teams, but you give me the 32 teams right now, I'll tell you who gets along and who doesn't get along. It's easy to see, right? And you know what? Players see that. Players see that there's no synergy between management and ownership. I've been on teams like that. It's not fun. It is not fun. And it's impossible to win. The leadership starts at the top. Forget about Landeskog and the players. Leadership starts at the top on the ownership group to Joe, which, you know, we're talking about president of hockey operations and Chris and his staff, to the coaches, brings on down to the players. At the end of the day, if you don't have synergy between all those things, you'll never win. It's impossible. It's too much of a fine line to win in this league. And some teams downplay it, and they think that it's not that important, and they'll never win. And then they wonder every year why they didn't win. Well, that's why. Yep. And I've been on teams where, oof, boy, oh boy. You go home, you tell your wife, you're like, wow, this is like, what is this? And then you've been on teams and then you get traded, you're heartbroken because you're like, oh my God, this was the place. This is how you do things. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, or fortunately,
depending,
it's not 32 teams that do the same thing. So, but every year, some team always does it better than all the other teams. They usually have the silver thing, and they usually are champions.
That is the goal.
That's how it works.
Anyway, that's our list of some of the major awards. So, you know, it's either the reason we're idiots or the reason we should be on the voting block. One of the two. Not sure which. But you know what? As long as there's nobody who leaves Nathan MacKinnon or Cale Makar off of their votes this year,
yes,
we'll be good.
Oh my God.
All right.
Come on. Was that one last year or whatever?
Was there one? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Either way.
I don't remember.
Those two you should definitely have a vote for, even if you don't believe they're first, you should have a vote for them.
No brainer in my book.
Same, but you know, maybe we're just homers. Who's to say? I'm not going to judge.
I'm not judging.
You're allowed to vote who you want to vote for. I'll argue with you and provide statistics, but that's half the fun, right?
He's not judging you either. He's good.
Never judge dogs. Dogs don't judge you, so don't judge a dog. That's the rules.
Tomorrow.
I don't know how to feel about awards anymore. in the sense of, like, when I was growing up, when I was in the 90s and in the 2000s, you'd have all these conversations about, like, oh, well, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame because he won this award or that award. And there are all these key things. As an adult, as a person who works in this industry now, I don't know that the awards matter at all for whether you should get in the Hall of Fame or not. I think you're just either a Hall of Fame player or you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think sometimes, as we see, that the voting is not fair, right? It is not. Life's not fair. So I think I mean, it's just been a criteria, you know, because it's like, oh, he doesn't have a cup. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Well, he's got one cup, but he's got 3, you know, whatever, individual awards. I mean, God, even those celebrity golf tournaments, you have to have sometimes one major award to get in there. So, I mean, so obviously it is counted upon, and some people do care. You don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm okay with being in the minority in that. I understand a lot of people are going to care even if I don't. But either way, we are headed into overtime here. So if you're watching on television, make sure you jump over to online, DNVR.com. The conversation continues. Yeah, I don't know that I have too much more to add on the awards front here, other than, like, you know, the obvious awards. Nathan MacKinnon has a pretty good chance to win the Art Ross too, which would be his first time winning that award this year. It's, again, I probably care about awards less than some people, but the reality is, this era of the Avalanche is always going to be compared to the 1.0 era. And people are going to go back and forth on who was better and how they stack up against each other. And winning awards like that it's one of the few things that the Avs have not caught up to the 1.0 era on, right? They haven't won as many individual awards, and they haven't won the second Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and I think you walk in the dressing room, you see it on the wall. Usually those individual awards lead to Stanley Cup.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
I think it goes hand in hand. You need elite top end, cream of the cream talent, and the Avalanche, both eras have had it. This era is not done. Obviously, we're talking about another few years of this absolute dynamite team. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's fun to watch. I think the guys they play for the Stanley Cup here, which is nice. They don't play for individual awards, but always nice to talk about them. But obviously more fun to talk about a Stanley Cup. Absolutely. And
Oh, yeah.
time will tell.
There aren't many players that would trade a Stanley Cup for an individual award. I'll put it to you that way.
No.
And if there's another award, maybe Nathan McKinnon still needs to win a Conn Smythe. Just throwing it out there.
There you go.
Just throwing it out there. We do have to wrap up today's show, though. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. I don't think we have any super chats, so we can just clear this one out. Back tomorrow afternoon. We had the ultra late game. Now we get the early one on Saturday against St. Louis. Tune in for that. Make sure you go read AJ's pieces on last night's game. My video is coming out when I get home, so go check out that. It turns out Marty Nate is a pretty good hockey player. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.